Hello everybody and welcome to another video. This week I'm doing something that is not unusual for me. It's something that I've been doing for at least the last 15 years, on and off, or attempting to do. But I just thought this week what I would do is bring you into my world of pain, if you like. This is, I suppose every photographer's got one. It's a subject that they really want to get images of, but have never really managed to get the images that they want. And for me, that is the common buzzard. And it holds a particular place in my heart because, as I say, 15 to 20 years ago, I hadn't really started in wildlife photography. And I'd got myself a big lens, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I had an encounter with a common buzzard. Never managed to get any images of it, but it really sort of fired me up with wanting to photograph wildlife. And it's that animal, that creature, that really started it all for me, if you like. So over the last 15 years I've had various attempts at getting images that I'm happy with of common buzzards, and I've got images where I've got them sat on fence posts and things, but I always wanted to get them feeding and sort of have that intimate contact where I can spend 20 minutes, half an hour watching a bird of prey like the common buzzard feed, and get images and nowadays as well film of that. And I've always failed, and as I say, I've had numerous tries, and I don't really want to go into all the attempts. But this year what I decided to do was again give it another go. But I decided that this year I was just not going to get to a point where I said, look, I just can't do this year. So since sort of mid-January, and where are we now, mid-March, I've been attempting to get these images, and I have to say I've still not succeeded. But I really just wanted to bring you up to date on what I'm doing, how I'm trying to get images, and let you look at my setup, and really give you an update of where I've got to now, and the fact that I'm going to continue with it, and hopefully through perseverance this year it will come off. So what I wanted to do is take you down to the site that I've set up, show you how I've set it up. And this is an interactive thing. If you've got any ideas about what you think I might do differently, or what you think I'm doing wrong, please stick them in the comments below, because, as I say, this is my bogey animal that it just continues to elude me. Hence the thumbnail that I put up, because I just, 6, 7, 8 weeks into this, where I'd set everything I thought up perfectly, and I just turned to Mel and said, I think these buzzards have gone vegan. But yeah, that was how bad it was. So yeah, we'll crack on with it, and I'll take you down to the site. Right, so you'll probably all recognise this area. This here in the field here is where I set up a buzzard hide last year, just over. Let's take you down. So we've had a tree, as you can see, come down here. But my hide last year was sort of over in this direction, and then I'd got some sort of bait out in the field, but the problem was, obviously, it's got a crop in here, so it's difficult to do that, because the farmer's going to be coming through with the tractor and putting fertiliser and chemicals and stuff and insecticide on these as they grow, so you can't really leave anything permanent out here. Although I did try to put it where the tractor tyres are, but it's just not practical to leave it there all the time. So yeah, it was a bit of a pain. So what I decided to do this year was, if I just walk you back here, is come into this little wood where I know there I could leave it long term, and it wouldn't be disturbed. So that's where I'm going to take you now. As you'll see here, problems that we've had, and I'll come on to that later, flooding. So I've had to make a little track across here. At one point the water was probably about up to about here on this tree, so there was, at one point you couldn't get round here at all, which caused me problems. So I've made this little walkway across here, so let's make us way across here if we can without getting wet or dropping a camera. A little bit difficult today because I normally hang on to the big one on the side there, but obviously we're filming that, and let's take you through. Right, and show you the setup this year. Right, this is my hide setup this year. Now how this works, obviously I think this is a really old hawthorn tree. And all this wood here that you can see makes like a little bit of a teepee shape. This is all the wood that actually comes down in the floods. Every time the River Trent floods, it pushes a load of dead wood, tree branches and tree trunks, all sorts, into here. And so it's just a case of picking it up, leaning it up, and then what I've done is obviously put some scrim netting round to make sort of a wigwam type shape. Also what I tend to do is this, so I've got a plank here with an old plant pot, a black plant pot, which is approximately the same size as my lens. So that sits there all the time. Obviously I don't want to leave my camera here. And if I then show you what happens to this, and actually this is a problem that I think, or it's an issue that might be causing some of my problems that I'll come back to later. So basically this stops here all the time. Right, so here you can see really into the back of the hide, and you probably get a little bit more better look at actually what it looks like from the inside and how it's been constructed. That is how it is most of the time, so there's nothing in there, it's just set up with that big black plastic pallet stuck in the back, just to give it a bit more structure. When if I give you an example, so say I came across on Saturday afternoon and checked the trail camera, and I'd got footage on there from Saturday morning where there'd been a buzzard on the pheasant, on the post there. What I would do is Saturday night I would come back and bring this chair hide and stick that into here. So that would go in there like that, like so. Set that up in there and then reclose all this back off with the pallet at the back. Sunday morning at 5 o'clock in the morning when it's still dark, what I don't want to be doing is trying to put this in here at that time in the morning. I want to get in as quickly and quietly as possible, so by doing that Saturday night when it's dark and I'm not going to disturb anything, Sunday morning when it's dark, as I say, I'll be back across into the chair hide here, close all the back up into the chair hide, and then it's a 7-hour wait. And that's what I've been doing on a number of occasions, but I've had no luck with the buzzard coming back. And I think I've got a theory as to why that might be, and I'll talk to you about that in a while. Right, so I'm not sure whether you could see from that where the bait is, but walking from the hide, if I just turn you around, as you can see, it's just here. But I wanted to show you past that because you might be saying, well, is there any buzzards around here? Is there anything for the is there anything to actually come and eat the bait that you're putting down? Well, I've just come past the bait. I'm into this really overgrown section now, so I'm probably going to be about 20 or 30 meters away, and I just want to take you out to the edge of the wood so that I can show you a little bit about the layout and why I think I should be getting buzzards down on there. And as I say, I've had buzzards down on the bait, but not when I've been in the hide. So if I just spin you around, we've got the beck hit down here, then you've got a field, and then there's a hedgerow, and then running down that other side of that hedgerow there's a fence line that runs towards the houses. The houses over there, that's where I live. And every morning for the past 3, 4, 5 weeks there's been buzzards on these posts. So I can walk down the road and I can see the buzzards stood on the posts. If I stop, they'll fly and go into the trees here. I've also seen them in the trees here as well, which, you know, that's 25, 30 meters away from the bait that I've got down. Bearing in mind there's no leaves on the trees, there's very little vegetation here, so it must stick out, they must know it's there. So yeah, sometimes 2, sometimes I've seen 3 buzzards as well. So if you're thinking there's 3 buzzards within 200 metres of where my bait is, sometimes actually, you know, in the trees just above it, you would imagine that, yeah, they know it's there, and it being a free food source, you would think they would come down and land on it. But yeah, it's been quite difficult at times. So anyway, with that in mind, what I want to show you is where the trail cam now is. So I'll just take you back and show you where the trail cam's set up. Right, now as you obviously can see where the bait is here. Initially I had my trail cam on this tree here, and I knew it was going to be a problem. Knew it was going to be a real problem, because what you've got, and I'm trying to get you so that you can actually see me and I'm not in full shadow, but yeah, what you've got, so the tree here next to me is the one where the trail cam was on. The bait's directly in front of me, which you think is a nice setup, and I've got that lovely arching branch there, which I assumed, and I was right, that the buzzards would land on that. It looks like they've actually been going on there to clean the bills, the beaks, when they've been finished feeding. The problem with it is the sun is coming up in that direction, and there's really not much vegetation between the open field and where the trail cam and the bait is. So of course, because it's bright over there, what it does is what every camera does, is it exposes for the big bright area. So it basically means that your bait and the buzzard, when it lands on it, was coming out very, very dark, which is what I didn't want. The problem I'd got is there was nothing in that direction to attach a trail camera to. So with that in mind, when that problem was noted, what I ended up doing was, and I'll go straight past it so you can see, is putting a trail camera on this here, which I've actually had to dig a hole and plant. So an old tree stump, it's fairly sturdy, and just stick the trail cam on, which means now the sun comes up behind, and obviously, as you can see from my image on this picture here, now the sun's up there, you're getting a much more balanced image than you do shooting in that direction. So that was one of the things I decided to correct, and has worked out quite well. Right, so I did say, did I not, that I thought I'd found a potential reason why. My instinct tells me that if an animal finds something, a free source of food, it will, and it's not completely consumed it on that first day, it will come back the next day to finish it off, because it obviously thinks that something else could get to it first. So it's a free source of food, it's going to come back. I still believe I'm right in that. So if that is the case, what's happening here? Why is the buzzard not coming back? Well, the only thing that's changed on that second day is the fact that I'm in the chair hide, in the fake hide that I've put up. So what could be causing that problem? I just want to show you these two photos now. I've just taken these this morning. Now the first shot you see in here is a picture of the scrim net fake hide without the chair hide in it. And it's got the black plastic pallet stuck at the back. So that's the first image. And now I want to put a second image up, which is exactly the same. It's the scrim netting fake hide with the black plastic pallet at the back, but it's also this time got the chair hide in. Now I don't know whether you can see there, and I'll switch between the two again, without chair hide, with chair hide. There's a subtle difference in the lighting. In the first one you can clearly see light getting through, or in my eyes I can, through the centre of the fake hide, because there's not that solid block in the middle. On the second one with the chair hide in, you've got a solid block, a dark mass in the middle. It's not letting the light travel all the way through, and I can clearly see that on the photograph. So I'm thinking, if I've got a buzzard sat up in the tree, came back the following morning, I'm going to finish this pheasant off, sat up in the tree up there, looking down here, looking towards the hide, that looks slightly different. Why does that look slightly different? And it may be that that's enough to put it off from coming down. It might be that it's just not used to it, and it looks slightly strange. I mean, please, if you think that's a possibility, stick a comment below, but that's the only thing I can think of. Unless my theory is wrong that they don't come back the second day. But, you know, that's been my experience with most other animals. You know, they'll come back until it's gone, because it's a free source of food. So what I've taken to doing now recently is I'm just leaving the hide in there, the chair hide, and then there's no reason, you know, because I'll be inside the chair hide, it'll have no difference whatsoever in the lighting that second day, and hopefully that'll allow me to get those images. But yeah, it's a strange one. Right, so hopefully, well, no, definitely there will be a follow-up to this video, a part 2. I'm not going to say it's next week, because obviously I've got previous history for that not taking place, and I would also say that at the minute the buzzards do seem more interested in pairing up for breeding season than they are on feeding, so I'm getting me excuses in early, so there may be a slight break. It could be later on in the year when part 2 comes out, but what I am going to do is leave all this here and keep it running. Obviously with having a trail camera down here makes it a lot easier. It means I don't have to be here personally, I can just keep coming and checking that, and if I start getting hits on stuff, that's the time to come down. And hopefully this new strategy of leaving the hide in there will work, and that will be what's been putting them off. They'll get used to that being in there, there won't be that change, and you know, it'll be fairly easy. We live in hope, but yeah, I will keep on with it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's given you a little bit of an insight into some of the strife and struggles that we have as wildlife photographers, and it doesn't always, you know, work out at all or straight away, and we do have a lot of failures among those successes, but when you get the successes it really is worth it. So hope you have a good time with your wildlife photography. I'll see you in a week's time, or around a week's time, with another video. I'm not sure what it's going to be on. Please tune in for that one. Thanks for your support, and I'll see you next time.